G'day everyone and welcome once again to Tassie Rules Tasmania's footy show. Terrific to have you with us again. A big weekend of football coming up. We're going to get stuck into all our regular segments. Of course, our Club in Focus with thanks to Harrison Agents coming up very shortly. Our women's football segment, special guest joining us in the studio as well. And tonight we want to thank a new partner as well, joining us, the Hawthorn Football Club, who are partnering with us with their home games down here in Tassie this season. We're going to be joined very shortly on the line by David Hale, assistant coach and, of course, a former Hawthorn star. Plenty of experience in Tassie. We might ask him a question or two about that as well. But first tonight, as always, it is thanks to the Crafty Cuts range at Little Rivers Brewing Company for our photo of the week. Plenty of photos sent in, of course, during the course of the weekend as well. And this week, we've had so many coming in. So thank you to everyone. We've narrowed the field down and let's take a look now at some of our picks that have been sent in. Firstly, this one here, this is a ripper from Bradley Moylan from the Bridge North Footy Club. He's their young photographer down there. This photo here, look at this celebration by Eloise McCulloch in the win over South Launceston after she kicked a goal. So fantastic photo sent in there by Brad. We mentioned last week the King Island Football Association got underway. Now, thanks to Jan van Rooswijk, this is the Oz Kickers at the Curry Oval during the opening weekend. They had 50 kids in attendance for the Oz Kick. That is quite incredible for the tiny metropolis of King Island. So well done to the King Island Football Association and a great photo there. Now, one milestone, 350 games is pretty big, but when your great mate and teammate comes up with 300 games on the same day, well, it's a special day, isn't it? So thank you to Lisa Tuttle-Macham, who sent this photo in of the banners being put up, the 350th senior match for Dave Cusick from Dodgers Ferry, and also Tim Callan, his 300th game. A great celebration there. So thank you to sending that in, Lisa. And also this from Shell Bailey. This is 11-year-old Alex. Now, it is Umpire Appreciation Round this weekend. Alex plays footy for the New Norfolk Junior Football Club, but he's also an umpire. And this is a fabulous photo in his New Norfolk gear there. But he got a great message during the course of the week from the Central Hawks under-8s with admiration and thanking him for the way he umpired the game last weekend. He was very fair, remembered all the kids' names, and very confident for someone so young. Hats off. He did an absolutely fabulous job and should be very proud of himself. So, Shell, thank you for sending that photo in and a great story. Keep it up. We need plenty of umpires. But our winner this week, fabulous photo sent in by Jesse Denham here. This is at Invermay Park, the NTFA Division 1 match between Old Launcestonians and also Meander Valley. And here we can see the men's, seniors and the reserves teams, as well as the OL's women and the Meander Valley women who'd come from playing at Georgetown that morning, and the umpires all united arm in arm. They're taking a stance against violence towards women and honouring the victims as well. So well done to Meander and Old Launcestonians. And Jesse Denham, thank you for sending it. Got a Crafty Cuts pack coming your way. All right, that's it for this week. Keep the photos coming in next week, but we're going to have a very quick break. We're going to be joined by Hawthorn assistant coach David Hale next.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Right, well, Hawthorn are back for the very first time in Tassie in season 2024, and we're looking forward to a massive game coming up against the Saints at UTAS Stadium. Fresh from a terrific win over the Western Bulldogs last weekend, the boys will be full of confidence and it should be an absolute cracker. Well, our first guest tonight, no stranger to UTAS Stadium, had a distinguished AFL career with North Melbourne and then with Hawthorn. He kicked 217 goals and 3 premierships, of course, the three-peat with the Hawthorn Football Club. He's now an assistant coach with the club, and it's a great pleasure to welcome to our footy show this week, David Hale. David, good to see you, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, little birdie tells me you actually were born in Tassie, so we can actually call you a Tasmanian, but you probably weren't here for very long, were you?
Yeah, born in Hobart. I live there about, so dad's side of the family are down near Tinderbox, so about half
Oh,
hour
yes.
out of Hobart. So, yeah, definitely a Tasmanian.
Fantastic. Yep. No, we'll call you that, and obviously a very familiar place for you down here, having obviously with playing with the Hawks and now as an assistant coach. Terrific win over the Bulldogs last week, and no doubt plenty of confidence gained, but a big game against the Saints. Your record in Launceston is quite incredible. There was a draw, but the other side of it, 57 wins from 78 matches at the venue. Can you pinpoint any specific secrets there as to why it is such a successful crowd? I know the support down here has been sensational for many, many years, of course, but can you put your finger on anything?
Not entirely. We do have great support. Our 10,000 Hawks members down there usually get along every time we play. It's a fantastic surface down in Launceston, so we really enjoy playing there. I guess just the familiarity with the conditions, the playing surface. Sometimes we play with the interstate teams have to come a long way, which is probably an advantage for us as well.
They do. The Saints haven't got far to go, but they also have a lot of support down here in Tassie. But one man I've been really impressed with this season, particularly over the last few weeks, is the improved form of Lloyd Meek. I mean, last week he had 16 disposals, 45 hit-outs and a goal. And you must take great delight as obviously having been a ruckman/forward at his form.
Yeah, he's been great since he's come into the side. The new ruck rules probably really helped him in terms of the centre. He's always been really consistent with his follow-up, his aggression at the contest, and I guess playing that block of games has really improved his confidence and understanding of the level. And yeah, we've been wrapped with his form and his impact the last 4 weeks in particular.
One of the great stories last week, of course, was the first goal from Kalshadir. It was a wonderful moment, and we got a photo from that where his great mate Jack Dunstan came in. It's a fantastic pic of that moment. I'm pretty old now, David. I remember as a Hawks supporter since I was 7 being at the 1991 grand final when Angry Anderson was going bananas with the Batmobile, but Paul Deere played the best game I've ever seen him play and won the Norm Smith medal. I mean, how special a moment was that for you guys, particularly in the coach's box, being able to see that particular moment when Kausha kicked that goal?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the father-son impact that those guys can have, the families come through. Obviously, Greg being a great member of that 91 premiership team, and to see Kausha, the development he's shown the last 6 months has been really incredible. Came in really raw when we first got him. To now, round 8 being able to debut is a fantastic progression. And like you touched on, Jack Gunston spent a lot of time mentoring him, and the skill set that Kausha's got is really relatable to that tall forward. And this is just the start of a long journey for him, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes, indeed. As I touched on, you're up against the Saints this Saturday in Launceston. They've been a bit patchy. It's definitely a game that I guess you guys will enter with a bit of confidence. But what do you see as some of the key areas, particularly against a side like St Kilda?
They're very well coached, St Kilda, having spent time with Ross Freeman. Very, very well coached, understand the game plan inside and out. They got some, midfielders, some young players going through there, and a couple of key forwards up in Max King and Membry who can kick some goals if they get enough supply. So we're definitely on alert that they're a good team when they're playing their best footy, and we expect to see that on Saturday.
I've been very fortunate for the last 10 years as the ground announcer at UTES Stadium with the Hawks, and obviously seeing you playing down there as well over the years. What's one or two of your fondest memories, David Hale, of playing down in Launceston? Because you've played with some of the greats of the game as well during that period.
Oh, it'll be hard to beat Buddy's 13,
yes.
I'd imagine. We played North down there, and I think it was fairly even at quarter time, and then the big Bud kicked about 12 in the last 3 quarters. So that game would be pretty hard to top. I think we ended up winning by over 100 points as well.
It was, and I do remember distinctly that Buddy kicked his first goal after the quarter-time siren. So in theory, he actually kicked 13 in 3 quarters, I guess you could say. But no, that's a good memory, very good one. On a serious note as well, the two sides are playing for the Blue Ribbon Cup, which is played in memory of 2 Victorian police officers, of course, who tragically were killed in the line of duty back in 1998, but also in memory of all the police officers who have fallen. It is a very special day between these two sides, and I know it's played with plenty of passion on the field, but it's a great thing that these two clubs can do and bring to the game of football as well.
Yeah, definitely. played in a few myself, and our board member Ian Silk, obviously his brother was one of the police officers who lost his life, so definitely means a lot to the Hawthorn Football Club, and I know it's a special occasion playing the Saints each year for the Blue Ribbon Cup, so definitely adds a little bit more spice to it, and I know the players look forward to playing in it each and every year.
Absolutely. Well, look, gates are going to open at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. There is a curtain raiser. This will be an absolute beauty as well. The Tasmania Devils and the Dandenong Stingrays are going to be in action, and the AFL game between Hawthorn and St Kilda starts at 1:45 p.m. Get on to Ticketmaster and get your tickets as well. David Hale, we look forward to seeing you down here in Tassie on the weekend. It's going to be a beauty, and let's hope the Hawks can get another win on the board. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully see lots of Hawks supporters there on the weekend.
Absolutely, we do indeed. That's David Hale, assistant coach of the Hawthorn Football Club and, of course, three-time premiership player. It is time for a quick break here on the show. When we come back, we're going to head down south for our Club in Focus. It's Dodgers Ferry. Don't go away.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
And a big thanks to Harrison Agents, our partner for our Club in Focus. And this week we are heading down south. Now, Dodgers Ferry, they're only a young club. They've been around for about 40 years, so relatively young football club still. But in that time, they've built a fantastic culture, a success, and it has seen many players, once they arrive, as we'll hear a little bit shortly, actually stay at the club. It's a great story. To hear and to learn a little bit more about the Dodgers Ferry Football Club, we are joined by their senior coach, Jesse Tegg, who's taken time out. Jesse, good to have you with us, mate. Thanks for being a part of the show.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
You've come back to the club because you spent some time, obviously, with Lauderdale and the TSL as an assistant coach with them. But what was the driver for you to come back to the Sharks?
I sort of got a phone call to see if I was interested in coming back as a senior coach. It wasn't an easy decision, but the opportunity to coach senior football, I couldn't really knock back the opportunity. I knew what way the club was moving, which was quite exciting. So, yeah, decided to take it on.
And, was there any sort of thought, obviously the change of football happening with the TSL obviously being not going past this year and with what's going to happen with all the southern clubs in the TSL, was that a factor in your mind as well with the reshaping of footy?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we all know, things are going to change next year. So while the opportunity was there to take, I couldn't knock it back. So, which, as I said, it was a hard decision. I didn't want to leave Lauderdale, but it was something I had to do. So.
Club had a great year last year, as in, we're talking about Dodgers Ferry now, not Lauderdale, but made the preliminary final last year, but you've had a big turnover of players. How's that been for you, obviously taking over the group this year and I guess effectively having to rebuild a fair bit as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think from last year's preliminary final team, it's 15 players that have either gone to have a crack at the last year of the TSL or retired. So there had to be massive, overturn of players, which isn't ideal in the current climate. But I was quite confident that I could get some young guys to the club and that there was already a lot of young talent at the club. So it wasn't a worry. I think we just have to be patient and give them guys time to actually, build into the footballers we need them to be. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Indeed. I mentioned in the intro about the culture of the club, and I guess no greater evidence of that than last weekend with a couple of significant milestones. We've got a couple of photos to share with our viewers here, but this is quite something. Dave Cusick, his 350th game, and Tim Cannon played his 300th game on the same day. I mean, what do these two men mean to the club, Jesse?
Well, both have been around now for probably 2 decades. Both have spent some time away from the club. Dave went to New South Wales for a few years while he was doing his uni degree with his physio stuff. And Tim also went travelling for a couple of years over to Western Australia. So, but apart from that, they've always been around the footy club. training, the social side. There's even been times like, I think it was around the 2015-16 mark where Dave actually put his hand up to be president at the time. And he was actually club captain at the time. So not an easy role to take on. Same with Tim's being captain. I think it was for 3 or 4 years, around the 2018 mark, I think. So both for us as a club with a young group, it's massively important to have them guys still around the club, and obviously they're still playing pretty good football.
My word.
So it's really good.
The ironic thing as well, we showed a photo of it a little earlier, they played their 200th game together on the same day as well 10 years ago. So that's quite unbelievable how that all stacked up, isn't it?
Yeah, it was when they were actually searching for photos the end of last week for these guys that popped up, and I was like, are you kidding? Is this
it wasn't deliberately done, was it? It just happened that way.
No, not at all. And like nothing was planned or anything like that. So it was just one of them freak things that happen in football. So, and it was a massive day. Like it was, great celebration for both players.
Indeed. Hey, last couple for you, but last year also it saw the debut of the women's team at Dodgers Ferry. Extraordinary start. Made the grand final in the first year. We got a pick here that we'll show, but not only an extraordinary start, but I understand there's about 35 players on the list in the women's team. I mean, that is big numbers.
Yeah, it's made a massive difference to the club. Right. Yeah. Thursday nights there in the club rooms, it's packed. The club's always had a good family culture, but obviously introducing the women's team, their families come along as well, and it's just added an extra vibe to the club, which has been, it's been great. Some girls have joined the committee. They look after the social functions. So, it's been really good for the club.
Great stuff. Just finally, Jesse Tegg, the senior coach of Dodgers Ferry, our guest this evening. But big challenge this week. You guys are sitting 6th on the table. You're taking on Signet. What are you expecting there?
They're a bloody good team. We've looked into them a little bit. Hopefully we'll make a few changes to our structure, which sort of reduce their space to move the ball in. But for us, it's been the same as taking on all them teams, your Signets, your Hulenvilles, your Lindisfarne. Like, we go into these games with nothing to lose but a hell of a lot to gain with a young group. And as we've seen so far, each time we're challenged against these teams, we've had our parts in the game where we've stuck to what we needed to. But we just need to keep to the job for 4 quarters, which is the challenge for us at the moment.
All right, well, it should be a great game. You've done a great job. And look, Jesse, we appreciate you jumping on today as we focus on the Dodgers Ferry Football Club. We thank you for your time, and I'm sure everyone's pleased to have you back home at the Sharks in 2024, and we hope it all goes very well for you and the club.
No worries. Thank you very much.
That is Jesse Tegg, senior coach of Dodgers Ferry, joining us, our club in focus for this week, with thanks to Harrison Agents. Back with women's footy after the break.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
All right, welcome back to Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show. And with thanks to the great team at Cleanaway, it's time for our focus on women's football. Now, this team are absolutely flying in the NTFA-W competition this year. They are on top of the ladder. They're undefeated. So we thought we'd find out all the secrets and make them public and catch up with their coach, a very well-known football personality, played over 300 games himself, and now coaching the Hillwood Sharks women's team. Dwayne Beaton joins us. G'day, Dwayne.
How you going, mate? You good?
Going very well, thank you. As I said, great start to the season. 4 from 4 on top of the ladder. You must be absolutely thrilled, firstly, how the girls are performing down at Shark Park.
Yeah, very surprising to be 4 and 0, but we'll take it. And it's really all driven from last year. We got put out fourth in elimination by Georgetown. We sat down as a group and realised we failed. We thought we should have come first or second. So we went away and worked on a few things and come back with, we had to get 10% better communication, attitude and fitness. And then we come back again, we worked out when we're going to start pre-season, and people wanted to start before Christmas as we do, but we decided not to start, shorten the year up, so we come back mid-January, and the girls organised their own running group before Christmas. So they've done that quite regularly from a Saturday from Christmas to probably round one, leading up to it. And at the moment, it's probably player-driven.
Fantastic. And that leads me well on the next question. We can see a shot there from the beautiful ground that you got down there at Hillwood. But the culture around the club seems to be a lot of energy. What has this women's team and squad brought to the Hillwood Football Club, I guess, in general?
You talk to all the Pierces, Jake, Max.
Yep.
They wrapped it. The women, he's the one who got me down there, actually, Jake and Max. It's just put another leaf, they just up and about, great attitude. Thursday nights is usually packed. Do like 90 counter meals on a Thursday night from the players. So it's good to see everyone supporting the club, but the culture is fantastic.
Yeah.
You just can't fold it. They've opened the women with open arms.
And the club has gone from strength to strength because obviously in the men's they played off in the Premier Division Grand Final last year, probably one of the better Grand Finals I've seen in many years in the NTFA against Rochely. But for those who don't know, a lot of people probably watching the show thinking, where's Hillwood? I mean, it's a tiny town. Have you attracted such not only a strong squad, but great numbers?
As we said, it's just the club culture. And that just attracts people. Like, if you've got a good club culture, people will follow. And, people hear about how good your club culture is and the recruits we got, and that's just through club culture.
The results are on the board at the moment. As you said, you're 4 from 4, and that shows in the leading goal kickers here. If we have a look at the goal kicking tally, have a look at that, Dwayne. Top 5, all Hillwood players. Marangi, of course, kicked, she's up there on 21 already, so she's had a great start to the year, but that's impressive.
Yeah, well spread. So, Naz kicks a bag every week.
Yeah.
She's actually spent a bit of time down full back, and we've rested her a bit as well this
Right.
year. But to have that many goal kickers, we're sharing the load.
And this week you take on Meander Valley, so that's going to be a challenge. Of course, they've been very successful the last couple of years. Played off in the grand final. So what are you expecting on Saturday?
The last 2 times we've played them, we've actually been in front, but their experience has got them over the line. The last 2 times we've played them, but hopefully, we can knuckle down and our fitness and skill will run over the top of them with our form.
Just finally, your 4 daughters who play in your team. How's the coach-father relationship with them on a Saturday post-match? All good?
So it is all good to, you try and train them and tell them what to do. You're the worst bloke out ever. But, it's great to see 4 girls out there having the dip. So
yeah. They listen to you more on the footy field than at home?
Not at all.
Fantastic. Always love your honesty, Dwayne. Hey, well done on what you've done with the club, because the culture is really built very well down there, and it's great to see the Hillwood Footy Club doing well in men's and women's competition, because it's a great community down the East Homer. So we hope things continue to go well, and maybe see you in September for the finals.
I hope so, but all 3 sides can go deep.
Brilliant. That's Dwayne Beaton joining us, coach of the Hillwood Sharks Women's Football Club, our club in focus for our women's segment this week. Now, let's take a look at what's coming up this weekend. It's the Pink Sports Day at the Lauderdale Football Club that's coming up at Skybus Oval. They've got a huge day, Mother's Day function. There is a raffle happening as well. They're going to be supporting the Breast Cancer Network of Australia. 4 matches to be played on the day. The umpires are going to be pinking up also, so it's going to be a sensational day. The senior women's match is at 4:30 p.m, but preceding that, the senior men. And, they're going to be in for a treat as well, because former AFL star, who's played 247 games for Carlton and the Brisbane Lions, Mitch Robinson, is going to be taking his place in the team as well. So that's going to be a fantastic day. All right, let's have a look at the leading goal kickers for a bit of a change this week as well. And there is the Lauderdale women. So that's what they wore last year, looking outstanding in their special kits for the day. So good luck to them on Saturday, and a great initiative that from Lauderdale. We're going to do something a little bit different from the women's footy this week. Rather than looking at the ladders and the games, we're going to have a look at the leading goal kickers. And we'll start off with Division 1 in the SFLW. And Clarence's Jacinta Limbrick, she is leading the way, kicked 1 last week on 8, but chasing her down, Grace White of North Hobart, who kicked 3, is on 6 goals, as is Georgie Bailey and Olivia Reid. And we move on now to Division 2 in the SFLW. And Natalie Daniels kicked 3 for Claremont last week to move to 20 goals for the season after 5 rounds. So a great start from her. Tiana Ford of New Norfolk there, 1 goal last week and has 15 for the season to date. So that's the SFLW. And in the NTFAW, leading goal kickers in the Premier Division, we can see it's very, very tight early on after 3 rounds. The teammates are Hodgetts, Robinson, Griffiths, all on 7, 6 and 5 apiece for the Parrots. And they are our leading goal kickers. Of course, the Division 1 women, we saw that a little bit earlier when we had Dwayne on as our guest speaker. Now, finally, I do want to say a big congratulations. Very, very exciting news for this young lady. Tanisha Kickoke from played a footy at the Old Scotch Collegians Football Club in Launceston, and of course also with the Tasmania Devils. Yesterday being announced that she signed with the Fremantle Dockers in the AFLW. So absolutely fantastic news. So well done to Tanisha for that. And we wish her well. All right, that's it. With thanks to Cleanaway, our women's segment for this week. Plenty more to come. Stay with us.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Great to have your company on Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show on this Thursday night. And it's time now to look at football around Tasmania. And as we did with the women's, we might show you the leading goal kickers in the SFL and the NTFA. Let's have a look at the SFL firstly with how that's going. And you can see Jacob Sawford there from Sorrel. Well, he had a huge day last week, kicked 12 against Hobart. So he's on 29 goals after 5 rounds. And equally, Ed Stanley from Lindisfarne. He's on 27 goals for the season. Hot on his heels, he also kicked the dozen in their win over New Norfolk. To the NTFA, let's have a look at the Premier Division first of all and our leading goal kickers for the season. Firstly, in the Premier Division, we could see that Archie Wilkinson from Hillwood, the full forward there, kicked 8 last week on 22. Brad Dodds also kicked 8 for South Launceston in their big win over Scottsdale last weekend. And Jake Hines sitting in 3rd place. He's having a great season, the ex-TCL player from Launceston. He's on 17 goals. To Division 1 now, and we can see there that Colgrave from Old Scotch, he kicked just the 1 last week, is on 18 goals. Lanham from Bridport, also Saunders from Lilydale, each on 17. Saunders kicking 5 last week in Thane Bardenhagen's 200th club game. Of course, great footballer over many, many years. So that's what's happening in the goal kicking as far as that's concerned. Let's have a look at the TSL now and see what's coming up this weekend. It is round 7 in the Tasmanian State League. All the matches on Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. At KG5, Launceston have got the trip down the highway where they take on Glenorchy. North Hobart will be playing Clarence. This should be a good game down at North Hobart Oval. And at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon as well, we mentioned a little earlier, a massive day coming up, the Pink Day down at Lauderdale. And at the Lauderdale Oval, Lauderdale will be taking on the Tigers. And North Launceston have got the bye this weekend, the top of the table, Northern Bombers. All right, few events coming up. I'm really excited about this because I love my history with football, and the City South Football Club, one of the famous footy clubs in Tasmania, they have got a 50-year reunion coming up. Going to celebrate their last ever premiership, which was back in 1974. It's up at the Australian Italian Club in Prospect on Saturday the 25th of May from 12 o'clock. $10 per person, including a light lunch. So that's incredible value. But, of course, now we have the South Launceston Football Club, a City South, having merged many, many years ago now. East Launceston, of course, part of that as well. Now the South Launceston Football Club keeping it alive. This will be a great day. We've got a photo here of their team from 1974 as well. Check out this when I reel the names off. Quite incredible. Derek Pearden, he's in that photo, played with Richmond, and a fantastic player, not only here in Tasmania, but very, very highly regarded by Kevin Sheedy at the Richmond Football Club. Bruno Zalesko is in there, a very famous name that many would be aware of. Kim Saltmarsh, Craig Coombs, and Wayne Chugg, and they defeated Scottsdale in that grand final as well. Peter Daniel, ex-Essendon and North Launceston player and coach, will be the MC for the day as well. Okay, now, as we said a little bit earlier as well, we caught up with David Hale in the show. The Hawks are going to be taking on St Kilda at UTAS Stadium. That is on Saturday afternoon. The gates are actually opening at 9:30 a.m. There will be a curtain raiser. Get down early because this will be terrific to see our Tasmania Devils, our future stars, who knows, of our AFL team, and they're taking on the Dandenong Stingrays. The Hawks and the Saints kick off at 1:45 p.m. The last time they played in Launceston was actually back in 2018, and the Hawks won that by 35 points in front of 16,000. It was a night game at UTAS Stadium, and let's hope we get a good crowd, and a crowd like that on Saturday. You can jump onto Ticketmaster to get your tickets as well. Now, for Saints fans who want to see a bit more of their stars, well, there's an event coming up after the game down at Latrobe, and there are still some tickets available for this, and you'll get to hear Captain Jack Steele and also their star forward Max King. So that gets underway at 8 o'clock. So you've got plenty of time to get from UTAS Stadium if you're going there, or if you're down the coast. Anyone can get along. Jump on the Latrobe Footy Club Facebook page. It is just $60 a ticket as well, so great value to hear from them. The Old Scotch Footy Club, they've got a huge day coming up as well, hosting 4 games, and terrific initiative here from Old Scotch. They're going to be wearing orange armbands to raise awareness and advocate for an end to violence against women. So well done to Old Scotch, and that's going to be a big game. They're taking on Old Launcestonians. The under-18s are playing Bridgenorth all at the NTCA ground this week, and raising money for Magnolia Place, which is a wonderful cause as well. Paul Puopolo, speaking of Hawthorn Footy Club, well, we'll get to that shortly. Actually, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. The Bridgenorth Football Club, we'll bring that one up first, just keeping my producer on his toes. But we've got a monster auction happening in about a week. Saturday, the 18th of May at the club rooms, just $20 entry, and that's supper, and you get a drink. Some great items: Blackwood coffee table, firewood for the winter, fishing charters, much, much more, smart panel heaters as well. There is a stack of auction items supporting the Parrots, and you can jump on their Facebook page and you can see all the auction items as well. But now, Paul Puopolo is going to be in town this weekend as well. He's going to be lining up down south as well. This is going to be a great day with the Sorrel Football Club, and then you can kick back for an evening with Poppy Saturday night, 7 o'clock. There are limited tickets there as well. If you get onto James Wiggins Promotions Facebook page, you can find all the details. But that is going to be a great night as well, because Poppy, a 3-time premiership player and 196 games with the Hawthorn Football Club. It is Community Umpiring Week this week, and this it's great to see the initiative right around Tasmania. Plenty of clubs and sporting competitions are going to be honouring our umpires right across the state, wearing green tape in recognition. And I know at a lot of matches around Tasmania, they'll be recognising umpires for the contribution they make. And, hey, we need more of them. So jump onto your local Facebook pages of the Umpires Associations and get involved. It's a great thing to do. Finally, Big Freeze at the DFC. That is the Deloraine Football Club. It's Big Freeze 3. This is a cracking day. They raise so much money for all the causes that they're doing here towards Fight MND. It is Saturday, the 1st of June. And get along, because it's going to be a great day. South Launceston will be out there. But just to show the lengths that people go to and what they put on and what they wear to take the big dip in the ice, we've got a photo. This is from a couple of years ago, and there they are, and it is a great cause. They get very, very cold, and they love doing it, and they raised plenty of money. So well done to everyone taking part, and we'll have some photos of our participants coming up on the show soon. All right, that's a big show. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your company, and of course, you can always stay involved with us through our social pages. We look forward to seeing you next week.